So we are going public, Venkatesh.
Okay, sir.
So hi everyone. I'm Dr. Nachiket. Hi. And with me we are Dr. Venkatesh Karthikeyan. Very difficult name, so I have to write it down. Okay, and from Bellamil Medical College. And guys, uh, I just had the whole intro of मैंने रख दिया है because let me tell you that I know Venkatesh from the last 1 year, and I was just talking to him that apart from all the achievement that he has done, and he's going to do, the first thing that I'm going to tell you about Venkatesh is that he's a very, very kind person who, throughout the year, every time when he has messaged me, it is about helping me out and a one way communication कि सर आपको ये कर लेना चाहिए, दुनिया ऐसा कर रही है या ये चीज मिसिंग है आपके ऐप में, आपको ये कर लेना चाहिए. So it has always been an advisory or a suggestive message. कभी भी मुझे ऐसा नहीं लगा that being one of our finest ambassadors that he is looking for anything in return. So उसके बावजूद he has been a very affirmative, a person who has achieved a lot. एम्स पटना उठाया सर ने अभी, ठीक है ना भाई ने हमारे. तो मुझे ऐसा लगता है that सबसे बड़ी जो उनकी अचीवमेंट है that he is a kind and a caring person, and apart from that he is the person who has just got admission in AIMS Patna. Congratulations, Venkatesh. A feat well achieved. And today we are going together. We are going to go to a journey where he's going to tell us how, apart from everything, because I've seen that he's a very active member in IMAMSN. Okay, हर वीडियो में ये होते हैं. He is talking to many people, great people. ठीक है ना. So आज का सेशन इससे ज्यादा मत सीखना, ये बस ये जरूर सीखना that इतना politically active होते हुए, इतनी सारा extra curricular activities में part होते हुए भी, how Venkat actually managed to reach AIMS Patna. So Venkatesh, the stage is all yours. Inspire and grow. Yours.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for the warm introduction, sir. It's very, very kind of you, sir. So first, I would like, as sir introduced, I'm Dr. Venkatesh Karthikeyan. I'm basically from Salem, which is a city in Tamil Nadu. I did my schoolings in Chinmaya Vidyalaya Matriculation High Secondary School and then St. John's Matriculation High Secondary School in Salem. I did my MBBS from Velamal Medical College Hospital in Madurai, Tamil Nadu. So first of all, I'm extremely thankful for Nachiket Bhatia sir for giving me this wonderful opportunity so that I can share my experience with my fellow juniors and friends. I have been associated with eGurukul for the past 1 year as a student ambassador, and it was one of the very good things which have happened to me. This is because I've got more friends through who are co-student ambassadors from other colleges and other states. And more importantly, I'm introduced to Nachiket Bhatia sir. I'm being able to be in contact with him. And I think that's a wonderful opportunity for me because I have been seeing sir, I've been following him in his social media and his WhatsApp statuses and all. And I just admire the way he helps people. He's like, though he's an entrepreneur, he's like involved in so much of charity work. And even before the start of this interview, sir was saying that if someone is really in need of any scholarship, I'll be able to give. So not only now, I have seen him multiple times mentioning in our student ambassador group also. He's so kind, and I'm very much blessed to be connected with such a great personality like him. And the level of simplicity he exhibits is like, I don't know whether even I'm that simple. So sir is like very simple. He used to read all the messages in the groups. He used to respond every single message of me personally, and he always works on improving eGurukul. 24/7, he thinks how we can improve eGurukul, what can be done better, how students. He also takes more importantly, he's open to criticisms and comments from students. So he generally says, don't say good things about eGurukul, just say the bad things, point out the bad things. I will fix it. So the level of commitments from sir as well as the eGurukul team is just awesome. And being a student ambassador, I got I directly and indirectly learned so many things as how an app is developed, what are the difficulties involved in it. Like we might just like that criticize things and go, but the efforts behind it and the hard work behind it was like evident to me just because I'm a student ambassador. And I'm seriously grateful for giving me this opportunity, sir. So first of all, coming to my story, AIMS was not my target. My full focus was in NEET. I was pretty sure that I'm going to do community medicine because, according to me, it is the best fit for me. So my full focus was on NEET, and I thought I should do community medicine in some of the topmost colleges of Mumbai or Delhi. But I was lucky enough to get into AIMS. I wrote INICET examination just because everyone is writing. So God was kind to me, and I got seat here in AIMS Patna. And I'm going to share with you my previous 8 to 10 months of journey for PG preparation. And we can have questions and question and answer session at the last. I'll just give my presentation for the initial 20 minutes. So, first point I would like to discuss is that it is important to have a mindset. We should have a growth mindset. We should not think that this is our level, this is our capability, and we are not fit for going anything beyond, anywhere beyond. So, we should be having this kind of, having a growth mindset is essential to improve our performance. We should not see the end date. April 18 should not be seen as the end date of your life. No, it is not. And if you are developing such an attitude of not seeing April 18 as an end date, it is going to ease off the major chunk of pressure, and it will help you in enhancing your performance. I always say to my juniors and friends that MBBS students are always comparable to gold coins in a treasure box. So the coin at the top of the box, and also the coin at the bottom of the treasure box, both of them are gold coins. So MBBS students are themselves achievers. They have excelled throughout their life, and because of which they are into MBBS. And even after MBBS, even if they don't do a PG, it doesn't mean that they don't have a future. No, even with MBBS, you can lead a financially as well as socially a very good life. So we are going to prepare for PG, and we are going to do PG just because we are capable of. So we should have this mindset in order to feel confident, and this confidence will help us to do our preparation in a much easier way. I started my preparation in March and continued my preparation till mid January. So initially in my second year and third year, I went to foundation courses in Madurai. And though I was not so much focused on PG preparation right then, it helped me to get oriented towards the PG preparation. It helped me to get oriented toward MCQs, and it helped me to develop a new perspective of how things should be seen, or how we should learn things, and it was very helpful. And after that, my entire major preparation starting from March was purely based on online platforms. I used multiple platforms to be frank, and eGurukul I was using eGurukul for doing a few MCQs and grant tests. Also, I used to watch videos of the great gurus. It was very useful. I used to study like 5 hours a day in the beginning of my preparation, and I gradually worked on improve it to 14 to 15 hours per day. I studied every single day for 8 months, and I have not literally stepped out of my home for those 8 months. The first time when I left my home was for giving the INICET examination. I kept a very close track of time of what I do every day, what I do every minute actually. And I think this is very important because I was locked down in my room for 8 to 10 months. I don't have anyone to monitor me, and the duty was on me to monitor my own progress. So I used multiple apps like Google Calendar, Google Keep Track, Your Heart, and a few such useful apps are there. And using those apps effectively helped me to keep a track of my preparation and kept me going. Maybe I could share a video about it in the later date in my YouTube channel. And I restricted myself from using social media to a greater extent. I'm a kind of person who talks with so many people, so many people till internship, and suddenly I started to restrict myself. I started to talk with only 2 to 3 people every day, and it was quite a challenge. But still, again, when you're giving up huge opportunities for the sake of PG preparation, it is definitely worth it. As I said, I used to talk with 2 to 3 people, and those 2 to 3 people whom you are talking regularly are very important. So you need to be very choosy on whom you used to talk. I prefer talking with my juniors. Like I have 2, 3 good juniors who are like very enthusiastic, very easygoing. They cherish life, and they are so much fun to talk with. So identifying and cherishing such people in your life is very important, especially when you are preparing for PG entrance preparation. You should stay away from all the negativity. You stay away from people who doubt your capabilities. they don't really matter to us. You should identify people who really love you, who really encourage you in doing your pre preparation. And we even used to have bets every day, like who's studying the most number of hours. So I used to compete with my juniors for the number of hours. So the person who's winning at the end of the day, who's studying the most number of hours at the end of the day, so will be getting a reward of 10 rupees like this. So I also used to invest in e-gold and all those online things. Like if I'm studying 10 hours a day, I would invest 100 rupees in e-gold. And all these little kind of gaming stuffs, it like helped my preparation, kept my preparation lively. And it activated my reward system. So these incentives are also important in order to keep your preparations ongoing. More than studying hours, what we do in break is of utmost importance. It is going to determine whether you are going to come back to study or just drift away, and the break continues forever. So it is important to know what you are going to do in the break time. Initial months of preparation, my break time would be mostly consisting of watching spiritual videos, and then watching self-finance videos, self-finance management videos, and House MD. But at the later part of preparation, I replace my break times with video lectures. So watching video lectures was one of the great things. It's a passive form of learning. You will be hearing those words of gurus will help us to learn things indirectly. You may not be 100% for learning it. See, there is never a perfect time for studying. So you don't wait for the perfect time. You just keep on studying like whenever possible. If you are active, do active learning, like doing MCQs or or doing GTs and all. If you're not so active, if you're like not in the mode of learning, don't close your book. Just start playing the video lectures. So this video lectures I used to watch at a speed of 1.5 to 2x. Initially, I started with 1.5x, but gradually I increased my speed to 2x, and it is not such a difficult task as we think. So watching videos in 2x and watching videos during my break time was one of the best decisions I have ever made, because initially I was studying for 5 to 6 hours and it was very difficult for me. But when I started filling my break times with videos, with video lectures, I was able to increase my study hours effortlessly to 14 to 15 hours per day. And it's such a cool thing, because you need not convince yourself so many times in a day for sitting to study. For example, if I'm studying in blocks of 1 hour for 5 to 6 times a day, I'll be able to study 6 hours, and I need to convince the lazy self of mine to study. I need to convince for studying for 5 or 6 times a day. But if I'm reading in blocks of 5 hours or 6 hours, I'll be needing to convince myself only for once or twice a day. So by this way, we can effortlessly increase the number of hours we are studying. I just made a point that I just kept at the back of the mind is that I should be studying either actively or passively every minute I'm awake. So I tried my level best to keep up to it. So while I'm eating, I used to watch video lectures. While I'm jogging, I used to watch video lectures. So this was told to me by one of the orthopedic faculties right in my college days. So he used to jog listening to his recorded audio classes. So I just followed the technique, and at the end of the preparation, it's like I got a sum of 250 hours in extra by listening to audios while jogging. So I think you should always find a way to increase your productivity, to maximize your productivity. And it is so cool to increase your productivity and making the best out of time, making the best out of you. You should try to study every minute you are awake, and procrastination should be avoided. Procrastination is a good thing if you are trying to procrastinate the breaks. So you should use our time efficiently, and time is the biggest resource we are having at this point of life. So my routine would include 4 to 5 hours of studying notes, and then I would do MCQs for 2 hours, like 50 to 100 MCQs minimum. And then every week I used to give grand tests. Apart from that, I used to watch videos during my break time. I made sure that I watched topper interviews and strategy videos at least 30 minutes every single day. I think that is of utmost importance, because since I have no one to monitor me, my motivation level might go down if I'm not constantly in touch with other people. And watching topper interviews and strategy videos were of much help to me in order to improve my performance, in order to frame strategies and identify my mistakes, what I was doing. I'm pretty sure that the online platforms which we are having these days are very extensive, and covering any one of them itself is a huge task. So we need to basically trust our source, be it eGurukul or be it any other online platforms. We need to trust our source, stick to it, and make the best use out of it. So my preparation was not very structured. It's not that I don't have a perfect plan and all. I just take care of the minutes and the hours, and the days and months takes care of itself. So I didn't have a perfect plan, but I made sure that I should allot only a specific time for a specific subjects. There are many planners available in the online market, so you can use those planners. Those are basically, they will be what to say, they will be able to give you an estimate of how many hours you should be spending for each subject based on the number of hours you are able to allot for studies every day, and based on the weightage for each subject according to the need pattern. So there are so many good resources available in online, and we need to make use of it in a best way. I used to study the notes of a topic first. Unlike other people, I used to study the notes of the topic first, and then and then watch the related videos of the same topic after 2 to 3 days. And after a week, I used to solve the related MCQs. So by this way, I was able to carry out spaced repetition. Spaced repetition is again a vast topic. I used Google Sheets in order to keep my spaced repetition structure. Maybe I can do a video of it later. It's too long to explain in this particular video. I usually watch the videos in 2x, and I get so used to it that even while I'm watching movies in YouTube or watching any videos, I feel bored if it is being in 1x. So even movies I started watching in 2x. So it is so doable. It seemed to be such a difficult task in the beginning, but it is definitely doable. And I made sure that I went through the notes completely. I was not able to go through each and every videos. Initially, for few subjects, I went from top. I watched all the videos from top to bottom. But as time went away, I just realized that it is impossible to watch all the videos. So I just made sure that I covered 100% in the notes. So I preferred printed notes. I ordered the notes and bought them because I was not my handwriting was not so good, and I'm a kind of person who likes to focus more on gaining the knowledge and grasping the concept rather than creating the source. So also this printed notes gives you an advantage of giving the photos. So those printed photos of the images, radiological images, and all these things would be quite impossible if we are taking our own notes. So I would strongly suggest anyone to go for handwritten ordered notes than your own handwritten notes. And again, it is like very subjective. If you are a kind of person who is very much comfortable with your own notes, then you can definitely go for it. Otherwise, don't hesitate to get the ordered notes. And though I was aware of the concept of 20th notebook, which is nothing but a notebook for taking down important points from all the 19 subjects, I was not making best use of it, again thanks to my poor handwriting and the lack of patience. So I used to note down the important page numbers where there are important tables and diagrams. I used to make a note of the important page numbers in front of each and every subject notebook. So by this way, apart from helping me to revise what is important, it gave me an added advantage of photographic memory. So visually, I'll be able to see, okay, at this part of the page, at this corner, this table is there. So by this way, this photographic memory was very helpful to me. And I didn't yes, and as I always do, I used different colored stick pens to mark the points based on the level of importance which I feel they should be given. For example, very important points I'll be marking in red. Drugs of choice I'll be marking in green. So you need to frame your own color codes, and you need to work on it so that you'll be able to revise it based on the number of hours you have. Like you have so much time to do, you read the whole notes. You have a bit less, read the underline notes, underline points alone. If you don't have if you don't have sufficient time, you are very short of time, just read the green and red ones. So like this, you need to form your own color codes and practice it. And I think it is very important because your preparation is your preparation is mainly focused on bringing you to the last 1 week where you're going to revise the entire syllabus, entire 19 subjects. And reading entire 19 subjects is quite impossible, but reading the highlighted points is very doable. So you need to know what you will forget, what is important for you, what is volatile for you, and you need to mark them with the color codes and revise them frequently. And I don't spend too much time on controversial topics, because if a question is difficult for me, it is obviously going to be difficult for others too. So I won't spend much time on controversial topics, and I don't have the FOMO. FOMO is fear of missing out. So what we think, we think that okay, in this Telegram group on faculty is there, or our group of students are there. They are posting this question. What if I missed it? So I'll go and check it out. What if questions are posted in DBMCA Premier group? What if I miss it? No, you need not worry much about it, because if such questions are important, they will definitely be added to your question bank automatically. So don't give so much focus on those Telegram groups and Facebook groups. You will definitely get access to them in your apps itself, and maybe you can use them for recreational purpose, but you should not be so much feared about missing out things. And I don't take breaks frequently. Just because everyone is taking break, just because you have been studying for a long time, it is not mandatory to take breaks. So you need to take break only when you really need to take breaks. Like as I said now, uh, time is the important resource we have in our hand, and it is the only resource we have in our hand, and it's a time game. We are like on a war against time. So it is essential to make the best use of time, and direct our efforts in the correct path. It's never too late to save a day. For example, you might have thought that you should cover a particular topic in the morning, like 8 to 9. You would have planned for a topic, but unfortunately, due to some unforeseen reasons, you might not have been able to cover the topic. So you will be like so worried about it, and you will think that you're done for the day and your whole day is wasted. No, even if it is 11 p.m. in the night, there is still 1 hour remaining which you can utilize for your PG preparation. So it's never too late to save the day. MCQs are the best and most crucial part of the preparation. There are thousands and thousands of MCQs to be done, and Gurukul offers like 35,000 MCQs in now. So you need to be so much oriented towards MCQs, and you need to be in constant touch with MCQs. Like I was able to complete all the MCQs in 6 months, and during those 6 months, I thought that okay, when will we finish this MCQs? When will we go for revisions and all? But after 6 months, once I was done with all the MCQs, I realized that okay, my preparation is starting to lag. This is because MCQs are missing in my life. Why? And this MCQs, which are a tool for active learning, is essential to keep your brain fresh. Essential to like keep you active, and MCQs, even though you finish all of them, it is essential to revise them. Maybe you can use the custom QB, custom question bank modules, and those latest features which are available to randomly mix and match and shuffle those MCQs and revise them. And if you ask me which is the most important part of our PG preparation, what is the most important resource, I would say that it's the previous year question papers. So be it AIMS, be it NEET, all the 3 to 4 year questions at least, you should be thorough. You should have done it for at least 3 to 4 times before appearing for exams. And these previous year questions are the roadmaps. So it's not about those questions alone, it's the relevant topics and the related explanation which you should focus more than any other thing in your preparation. And there are different types of bookmarking tools available, and you need to use it judiciously according to your own needs. You should not bookmark everything. Like I bookmarked like around 10,000 questions, and though I know initially I was aware that we should not bookmark everything, but still again I had the fear of what to say, missing out. So you need to work on gradually decreasing these bookmarks. Like uh, to be frank, I was in the middle of revisions are very essential when it comes to PG preparation, because there are 19 subjects and most of it are volatile. To be frank, I was in the middle of my first revision when I gave INICET. So I just gave it for just because everyone is giving. So even with that level of preparation, like in the middle of my first year, first revision, I was able to get a seat, which simply shows that the quality of content which is being given by these online platforms. So I think these online resources are very extensive, and if we are making the best use of any of these platforms, we can definitely get a seat. And just like randomization is the heart of clinical trial, Randomization is essential for our PG preparation too. We should not be too streamlined, too structured in our approach. We should mix and match. We should study one subject in the morning, one subject in the evening, and in that one subject, you should study like epidemiology of a particular disease, diagnosis of another disease, management of another disease. So by this way, you will be able to establish meaningful relationship between different things, and you'll be able to what is it? You'll be able to connect with different things, and this helps you in anchoring your answers, anchoring your information in a better way. And coming to the yet another crucial part of our preparation is the grant tests. So these tests are of utmost importance. I did not give any subject-wise test because I was not convenient with it. But it's again subjective. But it is very very mandatory to give grant tests. I did not give grant tests for the initial 2 to 3 months of my preparation because I was afraid that if I'm getting low marks in grant tests, then it would break my confidence. It would bring down my confidence, and it might hamper my preparation. But once I started doing grant tests, I realized that the marks and ranks which I get in grant tests are of least importance. So the marks are the least parameter which should be given importance to. It's all about developing a time sense. It's we'll be able to allot time based on the number of time remaining, like what to say, if you're having, I used to solve 10 questions every 6 to 7 minutes. So keeping a track of time and having developing this time sense was the ultimate goal of grant test. Also you need to simulate the real exam setting as closely as possible. For example, I used to wear formals while giving grant test. I used to wear masks too, since it's a pandemic. I used to wear masks and give grant tests. I bought wired mouse for giving grant tests. Though I have a wireless mouse and touchpad in my laptop, I did not prefer it because if I'm getting a wired mouse in my examination hall, all of a sudden, every question I might lose some 0.5 seconds for getting adjusted to it, and it's going to accumulate in a greater way, which is detrimental. So you need to simulate the real exam settings as close as possible, and don't give tests in your mobile phones. You give grant tests only in your laptops or only in your PCs. And such a training is very essential in order to get us accustomed to the exam settings. And we should not compare ourselves with others. So when you stop comparing your performance with others, you will get a different level of freedom, and you will be able to focus on your growth more. We all are individuals, and we have our individual pace. We need to realize this. We need to accept this first of all. Someone might be very close to you during your MBBS days, and suddenly he might get a seat in AIMS, he might get a seat in Zipmer, and we will be so much depressed. No, it's not the way. I was never feeling such a way seeing my friends who took seats earlier. So everyone will be having their own pace, and everything is for good. So when you think that whatever happens is good, when you start seeing the opportunities and problems you get, your life will be good, and you need not be worried about anything. And true improvement, true nobility is not being superior to someone else, but it's being superior to your former self. And coming to the GT analysis, like you, in more than giving GTs, the analyzing where you're weak at, which are your strong subjects, where you can improve by analyzing the answers of grant test is very important. I used to spend like 30 minutes to 1 hour every day to review the GT answers of the grant test which I have given in the previous week, and it helped me in a greater way and helped me to identify the weaker subjects where I need so much focus on. So after completing my first reading, I started focusing on the last 5 subjects in my I started focusing on the subjects where I scored the least in my previous grant tests. And spaced repetition is again an excellent tool which was very extremely useful to me. Maybe as I said earlier, I'll do a separate video on it in my YouTube channel. And don't think that you're an average student. Like we will be the school toppers, district toppers, and state toppers in our 10th and 12th standard, and suddenly after getting into MBBS, we forget that what we are capable of. Is because everyone around us is a topper, and we suddenly feel that we are mediocre. See, if you are mediocre, you would have never been into MBBS, and even if you are into MBBS, you would have never been able to clear even your anatomy examination. So don't think that you are a mediocre. Every single medico by himself is a legend. So you need not worry about, you need not doubt your capabilities. You are definitely capable of doing, like if you are able to clear MBBS, then you can do anything in life. And don't think that you will be happy in life once you get a PGC. No, your happiness should not be dependent on PGC. Your happiness should be dependent on things what you do. So you should rather enjoy the process of PG preparation than thinking on about the results. Like in the past 8 months, where 8 to 10 months were one of the best phases of my life. It's just because I'm not worried so much about the examination, but I enjoy the process. I try to improve myself. I tried to make the best use of time, and that made me happy. Even if I had not got a seat in AIMS, I would still be happy. I would appear for NEET PG 2021. If not NEET PG 2021, I will again appear for NEET PG 2022. So that mindset we should be having. We should not think that if we don't get a PG seat, then we are fit for nothing. No, there is no such thing. And having this kind of good mindset, you should be kind to yourself. You should be sleeping enough. You should spend time with people who gives you positivity, and all these things are very essential to carry forward your preparation without any hurdles. So I think I have touched upon major things. In case you wish to connect with me, you can find me in Facebook, Insta, Twitter, and YouTube in the same name, Dr. Venkatesh Karthikeyan. So finally, on a concluding note, me not being such an extraordinary student, when I'm able to get into AIMS, any single person watching this video can. So all the best. Before winding up, I'll take up. Yes, you can start posting your questions. Yes. Zahir Abbas, so what's your take on stuck with two options in MCQs? Okay, Zahir, like our motto is not knowing the answer for each and every question. Our motto is to develop our ability to rule out the wrong answers. So when you are developing that skill of ruling out what is wrong, you will end up with two close answers, and solving those two close answers needs knowledge. So I think you should develop that skill rather than focusing on knowing the one best option. You should be able to rule out the wrong options in order to derive it. Uh, okay. If you can post any other questions if you have, or else we could wind up the session. Okay. And few people ask me like why I chose community medicine. It's because I think I need a platform for serving the community at the large in order to treat the community at the large rather than treating an individual patient. And I think community medicine is giving me that opportunity, and I can opt to be into WHO, UNESCO, or any other international organizations. I can be a faculty in a medical college. I can get into ICMR, be a scientist. I can what to say, I can be an epidemiologist. I can be a master in public health. I can be a biostatistician. I can, apart from this, I can do my clinical practice also. And in institutes, central institutes like AIMS, they are not giving the degree of community medicine alone. They're giving a degree community medicine and family medicine. So I'm having an additional degree family medicine, and this is going to help me with my clinical practice too. And family medicine is gaining attention nowadays in our country, and it already has a huge demand in US and UK. So I think community and family medicine is a very good branch to do. And the reason for not choosing community medicine by many people is the lack of awareness and the aversion towards PARC. But believe me, PARC is one of the best book I have ever read in life, and it's one of the best things that have ever happened. Like PARC, you need to spend some time with PARC in order to understand its value. BK Singh, how many years previous questions done? Okay, like I did questions from 2018 to 2020, like 3 years questions I did, all AIMS questions and NEET PG questions alone. And focusing on previous year question papers, again, it's very important. Okay. If we don't have any questions more, we can wind up the session. Okay. So once again, I would like to thank eGurukul Bhatia sir, Nachiket Bhatia sir, for giving me such a wonderful platform. You're very kind to me, sir. Thank you so much. I also thank all the technical supports from Vats sir and everyone from the eGurukul team for coordinating this event. Thank you so much for the great opportunity.